Welcome everyone. We are discussing some upcoming news. It is Sunday, February 25th. We're going to look at the news next week, and I'm going to give you an update on my plans to finally hard code and program the news trading robot on some of these different pairs. But I also notice an interesting anomaly, which I want to point out as far as the news goes. So any questions, get into the comments here live on YouTube. You would have received access to this if you want to get access to when I'm going live and all of my free signal trades, premium trades, full auto trades, and now the high profit signal trades. I shouldn't say signal. It's actually high profit auto trader now. It was originally a single signal, but I brought it to high profit auto trader. And we're trading gold, which is XAU USD. We're trading US 30, NAS 100, SPX 500, and getting quite a few members that are taking me up on that, and I'm pretty excited to offer that. So the final, I think, iteration of this, of course, you know, I constantly evolve, constantly growing, is I want to be able to, first off, not overwork myself, but be able to offer just the entire gamut of what would go on with Forex trading. Again, we're going to look at the news today. We're talking about news, talking about an interesting anomaly that's going to come up here in March pretty soon, within the next couple weeks, which is an oddity, and I'll show you. And then, of course, I want to offer in some way, once I get this, and I've already pretty much perfected it. It works pretty good, right? Depends on what the news is going to do. But what it does is it trades news events. So we'll look at the news events. We'll talk about how it trades the events and the plan. And I'm going to program it today. And I've just kind of been thinking out loud to myself what the best way to get you access to it is. Meaning this, you know, to be able to monitor it and watch it with me. What we'll most likely do is probably do it live. The tough thing about that is it happens at just all kinds of crazy hours, and we'll look at that here on the Forex News calendar. Happens at all kinds of crazy hours. And I'm also thinking that I could, although I'm not going to promise it, I could give you access to the demo account where I'm doing all of this, which would eventually turn into basically the auto trader, where I could give you access to the demo account. You could log into it on your MetaTrader 4 app, and I give you the investor password, right? It's just a demo account anyway, and you'd be able to see what was going on. But I don't know if I want to do that level of access or necessarily need to. Ultimately, in the end, what I will do is I will do a video like this. We'll talk about the news. I'll tell you what I'm going to program in. We'll be able to see what times the news launch. And then I'll make announcements in the group. If you're not in the group and you're watching this on YouTube, live, or catching the replay, come on over to fxwithterry.com. Get access to the group for free. I send out free Forex trading signals that never lose. And there's upgrades. You can get a lot more signals by going to premium signals. You can have it all automatically done for you, full auto trading on 22 different currency pairs. And then the recent addition that I said was the high profit feed, you know, the gold, the indices, US 30, so on and so forth. NAS 100 is insanely profitable, or I'm not going to lie, it's a large loss also, one or the other, whichever way it goes, right? It's extremely volatile and can be very profitable, or lose an entire account in one trade. But we're not trying to do that, right? We try to protect against that. Why not, right? I mean, I'm taking these trades myself. I go out here to send trades to you. I'm taking the same trades. So, you know, I want it to be as secure and as good as possible. So let's take a look at the news, and then we'll dig in a little bit deeper here. Again, if you have questions, go on, you know, click the link. If you're watching this in the group, I posted it. Go over to YouTube, live chat right there, and I will pay attention to that. So I want to make sure that when I'm doing this, that I've got sound. Okay, because I've done that before. So I'm over here. forexfactory.com. It's extremely important that if you're going to use forexfactory.com, that you come to the upper right-hand corner here and set your local time zone and then refresh the page. As you can see for me, it's not, well, it says 9:33. When I refresh the page here, it's 9:51 a.m., right? I want to go back to this, and I want to go to the date today only. And there's no news announcement today. It's Sunday. The market opens later today. But I want to go through this. So can anyone in the comments, as I'm going through this here, and I'll give you some time, what happens, what major significant news event happens on the first Friday of every month? Let me know. I know there's a delay from me broadcasting to you being, seeing it live on YouTube. But if you're watching the replay, do me a favor, get in the comments and tell me what major news event happens every month of every year on the first Friday of every month. And it's going to be a little bit odd in March. So I'll show you that. So here we are, Sunday, February 25th. No news. Let me go to the next here. Now note that, now it says no news on Monday also. That's very interesting. Now note that I did the filter and I'm only looking for red folder news on all currency crosses and pairs. Okay. So that filter is applied. So it's showing no news on Monday. Okay, cool. Actually, sorry, that's today. And no news on Monday. Cool. So let's go to Tuesday. So Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. my time. Again, you have to set your time at the Forex Factory in the upper right-hand corner. But 6:30 a.m. my time. I'm on United States Mountain Time right now. Need some coffee this morning. So, in fact, I probably should check the comments and see if anybody answered that question. Let's look. Still no answer. All right. You guys don't like to watch live videos on Sunday morning. So 6:30 a.m. we got a USD going off. I believe I am going to program that. That again is Tuesday, so it's a couple days out for me. And then at 8 a.m. my time, another US dollar. 5:30 p.m. an Australian dollar. Usually not a whole lot of movement on that. But then at 6 p.m. New Zealand dollar. So I'm going to program those. And I'll make the announcements so I either go live and show you it playing out and or afterward show you what played out. But nonetheless, I'll share with you how this works. Now, what's the idea moving forward here? As I perfect this, I'm sure there will be nuances at several different levels. First off, when the news launches in terms of a time. So there's 6:30 a.m. launch and an 8 a.m. launch. So a lot of that depends on what time, okay, and of course what currency pair. It also depends on the, like the currency pair, like US dollar movement compared to the Australian dollar movement or the New Zealand dollar in this case. And that's the one thing I'm not familiar with. I don't know how each of them acts, and it takes practice. So that's why we're going to do this. We're going to practice this for a while. The programming and the automation and the bot that I have is extremely good. You almost can't mess it up. It does so many things so fast. And I will tell you, we'll look at one and go, wow, this is a great winner. Here was kind of the programming idea behind it, with trailing stops and tick stops and all of this stuff, pending orders, multiple pending orders. And then it's something where it's like, if the trade is not triggered, then we'll hold on to that trade. And if the trade is not triggered, we can get rid of it 5 minutes later, automatically, just delete the pending trade. So we're going to go through that process. It will be a learning process. Ultimately, again, what I want to do is I want to turn this news trader into an automated feed. That way I can say, hey guys, at, such and such PM or AM, NZD is going to do a news trade. I have it programmed in, and you can either monitor it by pulling the feed into your account and watch it on a demo account, or you can, be a degenerate gambler like me and ultimately put it on real money and roll the dice. Roll the dice. It's like going to Vegas. We're going to gamble. So that is Tuesday next week. Let's go to Wednesday. Wednesday has a U.S. dollar announcement at 6:30 a.m. And so I'll program something there. We'll see what's going on. I mean, 6:30 a.m. Let me think of what that is. So if I'm 2 hours behind, yeah, that'll probably be significant. That's about the New York Open time. So anyway, we'll see what happens here. So that's Wednesday. We're getting closer to the end of the week. So Thursday here, Euro all day, it says. I don't know if I've ever really seen that. So the Euro is being affected all day. So we'll trade, like, for example, I'll program Euro USD. But, who knows? I mean, they're not giving us a time. Whereas at 6:30 a.m. for me, we got the Canadian dollar and U.S. dollar announcements. That's probably unemployment claims is probably going to really affect the U.S. dollar. And then CNY, we're not going to play with that. That is let's see, CNY in the Forex market is the Chinese yuan. I think that's how you say it. Chinese yuan. Yeah. So we're not going to trade that one. So that's Thursday. Friday, what's missing here? So we've at 8 a.m. we got 2 U.S. dollar news announcements coming out. ISM manufacturing and revised UOM consumer sentiment. What's missing here? I was like, hey, something's missing here because Friday, March 1st is the first Friday of the month in March, right? So what I was expecting at 8:30 a.m., or I think it's probably earlier for me, it'll be like 6:30 a.m. my time, but 8:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern time, the first Friday of every month, except for right here, I guess it doesn't launch on the first Friday of the month if the first Friday is the first day of the month. All right. But so I'll show you what it is. But what is supposed to launch the first Friday of every month is NFP, non-farm payroll. So it's basically employment or unemployment claims. Basically, it's a major factor of the economy of jobs report, employment type of thing, right? I'm not going to get too caught up in it, but we know it happens. So what's interesting, I was like, all right, it's not happening this Friday, so let's fast forward. So let's go through next weekend. So nothing Saturday, nothing Sunday. So next Monday, a week from tomorrow, there's a Japanese yen that's going on, which is tentative. We've got Tuesday. I'm gonna go forward here. I'm gonna go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So not the first Friday of March, but the second Friday of March is going to be, and you can see it right here, non-farm employment change. They call it NFP, non-farm payroll. Okay, and that happens at 6:30 for me, which is actually 8:30 a.m. New York Eastern time. So that's a major news event, and I'm excited to program that because it typically obviously affects the U.S. dollar pairs, but let's say USD CAD. I've seen it affect gold pretty excessively, so we'll program it on that. I've seen it obviously affect US 30, and there goes an alarm. I've seen it affect US 30, so we'll program that. And that I've also seen it. They also say that some of the biggest US NFP news will affect the Euro US dollar. So we'll program all of those with my news trading bot, and this will be, it's like 2 weeks away, right? But I just wanted everybody to know that the non-farm payroll NFP or non-farm employment change is not happening until Friday, March 8th. So I will have all that stuff programmed ahead of time. What's cool about this bot is, we can see news weeks, months ahead of time. I can program this bot, and the auto news trader, I can program it a week ahead of time. So I'm going to start setting up some of that programming today. That's kind of the goal for me here on a Sunday. But let me look at one thing. Yeah, I see someone says non-farm payroll, probably because of leap year. Yeah, I was thinking that it probably is because of the leap year. Yeah, interesting. Good point. So that's what's going on. Just wanted to give you, and also kind of like start to, I don't want people freak out about the news, right? In my particular case, with my signals and my trades and my automated feed, I don't connect the news with saying, "Oh, I'm not going to trade," right? My system and my automation, my signals, my main auto feed is, I'm not going to say it's not affected by it, but it's certainly a 50-50 thing. It could absolutely help all of the trades that we're in. I've never seen the non-farm payroll news or any news event affect our trades with my particular system. Again, it's a dollar cost averaging. It's a scaling in option. We don't set a stop loss. And if that scares you off, please go read the book called Virus of the Mind. I say it a lot, and you'll understand that people telling you to set a stop loss on every trade, just no matter what, when you set a stop, you take a loss. And in my particular system, with the mathematics and the automation, I don't do that, and I don't need to do that. If we ever get ourselves into a trade, and I'm going to speak to that in a second here, if we ever get ourselves into a trade or a basket of trades that's pushing any given account too far, typically that can mean that you either bid too much, and it's not really an issue of the system or the trade, or the market has really, really moved a lot, no matter how much you bid, and all you've got to do is manage it. So one of the things I mentioned in the group that's coming up this week is, every morning I go through all of the different accounts, all of the different proof of concept accounts, the feed accounts, the signal accounts, the automated accounts, some different account sizes. One thing I'm going to start doing, because you haven't really seen this, is I'm going to start bidding a lot more and maybe overbidding on some of these accounts so I can show you how to manage them. I know just intuitively from experience how to bid, so it doesn't overtax my account. So it kind of gets a little boring, I guess, and I was thinking about this, gets a little boring watching me every morning going, oh, look, profits and stable account, profits and stable account, profits and stable account. And you never really get any experience of, oh, I pushed this one a little too far, and I need to do some partial closes. That's ultimately how I manage this. So I'm going to show you that coming up this week and moving forward, at least with one of the proof of concept accounts that I got. I'm going to push the bid. I'm going to push it and probably over push it, in the sense that I want you to see me scramble a little bit and go, oops, look, this morning we got a lot of trades. My margin level percent is extremely low. Feeling uncomfortable with it. Let me take some of these trades that are in a deeper drawdown and do some partial closes and force a little bit of loss. And in the end, what will typically happen on that basket of currency trades and pairs is that, let's say it's gone deep. It's gone really deep, and I have to force some losses on the back end, right? Meaning on some of the first trades, if we have 10 trades in a currency pair that's all mathematically going to work out in a net profit, I will force some losses on potentially those earlier pairs and give myself a little bit of margin level percent back to keep the account going. And then in the end, I can manipulate the trades, the newest trades, to either cover those losses or shoot for a break even on that currency pair basket of trades. And I'm completely happy with that, because that doesn't happen all the time. We don't always get, a currency pair that's just going against us and against us, against us. It can happen, but I want to show you, I want to push it again hard, or a little hard, not overdo it to where I'm forcing major losses, because that's the thing. There's bidding conservatively, there's bidding moderately, and then there's overbidding. I'm more of a conservative, moderate bidder, because I don't like the emotions that can be caused from looking like you're going to lose your account overnight, and you're up at 2:00 in the morning trying to manage things. Most people do that, and here's why I say that. People get my no loss signals or my full auto trading, and they're like, they trade it for a week or two, and they're like, typically I see people do it for a week, and then they're like, this thing crushes. I'm going to go ahead and increase my bid. And then another week goes by, and they're like, it's crushing. I'm going to go ahead and increase my bid. And then we get a day where we've got some news events, or the market just went against a bunch of trades, and they're like, my margin level percent is down at 104%. I'm like, okay, you know. So now you know what your base bid is, and now know you when you've went a little too far, there's some sort of happy medium there. We can't always predict the market, but there is a happy medium that if you don't like the emotions of, every day having to force losses and manage your account, even when you take partial losses with my particular system, as long as you do it properly and you're not overbidding, then typically in the end that basket of trades just goes out at maybe break even, maybe a few dollar loss. Okay, cool. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. You shouldn't worry about that, because other people are setting stop losses and taking a loss, and they didn't really need to. They just needed to let it run, let the trade stretch, let it go into drawdown if that's what it's going to do, and then do some partial closes to protect your margin level percent. I'm over here using my fingers off screen, and the mathematics figure out really, really well 99.9% of the time. All right, so I'll stop there. Just wanted to do a quick update and also get you used to, this is where I was headed with this entire beginning here, get you used to looking at Forex Factory, but not thinking that it's going to affect our signal trades and our automated trades. It really, as far as my high profit trades go, the gold and the US 30, the indices, metal and indices, we set a stop loss on those because they're out of control, right? They can move so far and blow an entire account out. Might as well just, okay, went against me, take the loss. My high profit system is designed to obviously profit a lot more than any loss that we have to take. So that is what it is. And of course, the reason I look at the news trading is not to say don't trade. I'm saying I'm going to program some really cool automated trading that can capitalize on news events. I think that's the final piece of the puzzle of what we're doing here. So anyway, that's it. Appreciate you joining me. I will see you tomorrow morning live, 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and whatever time that is for you. You can go on Google and convert it, and we'll go over what has happened in the market since opening tonight. So I will see you then, and take care.